In this demonstration, I will show you how you can use Azure Pricing Calculator. So I'm going to use Azure Pricing Calculator to generate a cost estimate for an Azure virtual machine and any other related network resources. In task 1, I'm going to configure the pricing calculator, and in task 2, I'm going to review the pricing estimate. Here is my browser, and I will type the URL of the Azure Pricing Calculator. Here is the URL: azure.microsoft.com/en-us/pricing/calculator. So I will press enter, and here is the page. Pricing calculator can help you to calculate or estimate hourly or monthly costs for using Azure. If you scroll down a bit, you will see that the resources are into different categories. So if you are looking for any of resources that you want to estimate, just click on a category like web, compute, networking, storage, and so on. So what I will do now is to click on the virtual machine, and after that I will click view. This will take me to this side where I can now begin to configure the pricing calculator. So the first thing I will do is to change this value. You said your estimate, right? So I will change it to something like my pricing calculator. And for this one, I will change it to Windows VM. Windows VM. Because this virtual machine is going to run on Windows. So I'm going to modify the settings here. For example, I intend to host this virtual machine in North Europe. So I will select North Europe. There is it, North Europe. And the operating system will be Windows. The type is going to be operating system alone. If you want to have other informations like SQL Server and co, you select that. The tier will be standard, and the instance will be let me click this drop down and change the instance. I want A2 2 core, 3.5 GB of RAM, and 135 GB of temporary storage. So I'll select this. That's the instance that I actually want. And if you come somewhere here, it's asking you what plans do you want. I want pay as you go. So if you also want saving plans like 1 year saving, 3 year saving, that is, you want to pay for 1 year ahead or 3 years ahead, so you can also select any of these. So in this case, Microsoft will give you some kind of discount, and that's one of the way by which you can actually save money. So the next thing that I will do now is to set the hour. Now by default, in a month, the number of hours that Microsoft will calculate in a month is 730 hours. So they assume that 730 hours is what you get in a month. So if, for instance, I want this virtual machine to be available for just 50% of the month, that is 15 days out of approximately 30 days, I can set this one down to what? 365. That is 365 hours. Then if I now scroll down, you will see this section called manage disk. If I expand this manage disk, I will now configure this. This detail can configure it to be what? HDD or SSD. So I'll leave it like that. That's the HDD. Then for the disk size, the size presently is what? S4, right? I'll click the drop down. I can change the size to something like this, S30. That is a 1024 gigabytes, and it will cost $40.960 per month. So let's say that's what I want, and the number of disks that I want is 1. Now I want to add networking into this virtual machine. I will expand the bandwidth, and on the bandwidth you will notice that you have this data transfer type, source region, destination region. You have all of this. So the source region is what? North Europe. Do not forget, I set North Europe for the virtual machine. So that's why by default for the bandwidth is also set North Europe as the default region value. So I will leave it like that. And on the outbound data transfer amount, I will set it to 50 gigabytes. 50 gigabytes. And I'm going to add one more thing. I need to add application gateway to this. So I will come back to this place, and under the networking, I will look for application gateway. So I'll click on it and I will click view. So this will take me to the application gateway. So in the application gateway here, I can change the name. I will use app gateway. For which one? Windows VM. And for the region, I will use North Europe. North Europe, yeah. And for the tail to be basic and the size would be small. The gateway R, the gateway R is going to be for how long? That should be 365. Remember, we set the virtual machine for 365. So I'm going to use 365 here. Oh, sorry, this is for instance. Number of instances I want is what? 1. Why the R will be 365. And for the data process, I want it 50. And for the outbound data, I also want it to be 50 as well. Now I will configure all of this. What do we have? If you scroll down to this side, you are going to see this is your monthly what cost. Remember, the virtual machine is set not to run for the whole of the month, just for half of the month. So if you look at the estimate monthly cost now is what? 119.53. And let's see the breakdown based on the calculator. It said for the virtual machine is what? 108.91. That's what it calculated for the virtual machine. And for the disk, it also give us something. For the disk, we are getting this 40.96, and for the managed disk, we are getting 40. Okay, for the disk 40.96, which is the managed disk. And for the virtual machine itself, we have 65.70. If you add these two together, it's going to give you this 108.91. That is because the disks and everything inside the virtual machine. The additional things that we'll configure, remember we configure something on the application gateway. Application gateway will cost what? 10.62. Yes. So it will cost 10.62 and so on. So if you look at this breakdown, you know, look at the value for the virtual machine itself, 108.91 plus 10.62. You agree with me, it's going to give you 119.53. So that is how you can configure your pricing calculator. So you can go ahead and add multiple resources to this so that you can have an idea of what it will cost you to run that particular resources. Now, one more thing that I want to do here is that if you notice, this is running US dollar as the currency. I can swap it. I can change it to any currency that you can find there. For instance, I can change it to maybe the yuan. You can change it to Canadian dollar. You can change it to euro. Let me swap it to euro. What's going to give us? 114.71. So I can go ahead now and click on export, which will allow us now to export this into an Excel file. And look at it. It has downloaded the file into an Excel. So I've clicked on the Excel file and look at what is here. Look at it. So look at it. It's telling me, it gave me the same thing, that the compute is what? 104.52. Remember, I've converted it now to euro. It's no longer in US dollar. 104.52, and for the networking, 10.19, and the total value is what? 114.71. So I can actually present this one now to the management because I generated this one directly from the Microsoft site using the Azure Pricing Calculator. So what I've achieved in this demonstration is that I've configured Azure Pricing Calculator. I've used it to estimate a particular virtual machine, and here is the estimate.
Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing to this channel. Please, let me know what you think in the comment section. And do not forget to leave a like and share this video. See you in the next one.